Yes, we are recording. Okay, welcome everybody to our Saturday team call for our accountability group. It's 2019, and this is the first call that we've had for the year, so I'm really excited about it. I'm going to keep us here very short time and just dive right into our topic today. So if you're watching the recording of this, the topic for today is about how to get back on your journey if you've fallen off. So how to recommit is what I call it. I'm just going to talk about 3 things that you need for how to recommit. And I think that this is something that we need to talk about often in our groups and with our accountability partners and with our family members, and even if you have children, because this is something that you're going to experience in all areas of your life, with your job, with your marriage, with this journey, with anything that you do on a regular basis. You're going to have that point where you just kind of fall off and start letting life happen instead of being proactive, you start being reactive, and instead of having a plan, you just kind of start winging it. And I think it's important, first of all, for us to understand that that's very normal to respond that way. Life goes fast. There's a lot coming at us. There's a lot of moving parts. As women especially, we wear a lot of hats. We're the nurse, we're the caretaker, we're the full-time mom, we're the full-time wife, we're possibly the house, taking care of your house. Maybe you're the CEO at your company. Maybe if you're a coach, you're the CEO of your business, so you're starting up a business. There's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of things moving quickly. And if you're like me and you're very, how can I describe myself? I don't want to use the word emotional because we all have emotions, but if you're very passionate and you really feel everything that you do, it can be very taxing on you. And so if you don't have a healthy mindset and a healthy way to reroute, you start to use things to cope with the pace of your life. And that definitely happens when you add in a purposeful fitness journey. If you're just in a maintenance phase, it's going to happen as well, but it's more likely when you're in that place where you're wanting to change something, where something that you have right now is not necessarily where you want to be, like weight loss or muscle gain or strength or some sort of health improvement. And so because it's an added thing that you have to do. So what happens is we have to have the mindset ahead of time, and we have to think proactively. We have to, yes, have a plan, even though your plans usually have to be flexible because life happens. You have to have a plan in place. So I just want to cover 3 things that have helped me when I get off track. And I will just be very transparent with you. I get off track pretty often. And what's cool about that is that I've learned how to get back on track a lot faster, instead of in the past where I would get off track and I would completely disappear because I would feel embarrassed, or I'd feel ashamed, or I'd feel like disappointed in myself. And I didn't really want to come back up to the surface until I felt better about myself. You don't need to do that. You just need to understand the first point, which is love yourself where you are. And I know that sounds cliche and, Instagram-y, Pinterest-y, something, cute and lovey. But I'm telling you right now, you cannot move forward in a consistent basis or on a consistent basis without telling yourself that it's okay, without accepting yourself for your faults and flaws. And I'm the number one person who struggles with this the most. You can ask anybody who's very close to me, anybody who's in my life. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm a recovering codependent. I am somebody who just doesn't like to fail. And so all of that personality, all that negative pressure is okay to a certain point. And then when life has to continue and you have to stay continual and consistent, that doesn't work for consistency, because you can't be perfect. You can't maintain that top level at every second of the day. Sometimes certain things have to have wiggle room and certain things have to give. And for a personality like mine, it's very hard to be flexible sometimes, because I want to give my all. Like I said in the beginning, I feel everything. So sometimes my brain translates if I have a day where I'm off my nutrition, or I didn't work out, or I was just too tired and I unplugged, what will happen? Hey, Jenny. What will happen sometimes for me is that will just completely make me feel like I have to start over. And so, Jenny, I muted you just so you know, and I'm going to open it up at the end. So that's the first thing. And again, I'm not a rainbows and unicorns type of coach. I am a very love yourself and love each other first, but I'm also very transparent and very real. And I hope that you feel that way about how I coach. So that's step number one. If you fall off, if you have to start over and you're like, oh my gosh, how many freaking times do I have to start over? You have to just accept yourself for where you're at and who you are, and just yesterday is done. Don't even think about what you didn't do or did do that was on your plan. You just have to say, okay, I'm enough. I'm okay. Let's start. Let's do this. So that's number one, is the self-love. It has to be in place. I don't care how rainbows and unicorns it sounds. You have to have that. You have to be able to love you first. So the second thing is to stop thinking. Now, everything I'm teaching you is things that I've learned because I struggle with them a lot. So the thinking, the overthinking, I'm an overanalyzer. I analyze, I think, I love to dissect things. That's just how my brain is. People always tell me, you should have been a counselor or a psychologist. I probably should have, but that's just the way it is. If you're not an overthinker, you're kind of a little bit ahead of the game, because you probably take more action than you do thought. So for people like me, I tend to overthink things, and then by the time it's time to actually do the thing, I've exhausted myself. And I don't know if you can relate to that, but I've done that for so many things where I'm like, well, maybe I should do it this way, or maybe I should do it this way. How about I try this first? And then the plan ends up hindering you instead of helping you. So the second point is to do less thinking and more actions. So think less, do more. That's been my theme last year. And that's my theme this year for myself, is how I'm going to stay consistent. I have to stop thinking so much and just take action. So I did my workout this morning, and I did a little extra workout for myself just because I wanted to. And I wasn't ready for the call. I wanted to hi, Lil. I wasn't ready to, I wasn't fully dressed. And then I thought, you know what, I could have thrown a shirt on. You guys can't see what's on the bottom of here. But I thought I'm going to keep my robe on because I'm not ready for the call in the way that I pictured it, the way I planned to, fully dressed. But I'm doing the call because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, yes, do I want to show up in my bathrobe when I'm the CEO of my own business? No, I don't. But it's done is better than perfect. So I think that you can get so much more out of your journey with staying consistent by just doing it, even when it's ugly and it's not perfect. Even if you can only do half of the workout, or even if Tina had this morning, her shake exploded. Even if your shake explodes, drink the rest of it, make a new one, just move forward. So the first point is love yourself where you're at and accept yourself, and find a way to do that. And if you're struggling with that, you've got personal development. I have tons of suggestions. I personally am back in counseling. That's just something my brain needs. It's like a massage for my brain, like spa for my brain. I have to have it. I went without it for a while, and I realized that I do better with it than without it. So I'm going back to that. But you find that thing that is going to keep you in that frame of mind where you can say, you know what, I can accept myself. It's okay that everything's not perfect. And the second part is, like we just said, to just think less, do more. And then the third part is to stay plugged in. You guys, what I'm saying is not earth-shattering. This is not something you've never heard before, but it's so important to stick to the fundamentals. What happens when I fall off, and I'm sure that this is what happens when you fall off, is that you've gotten off track with the basics. The basics are to do something that you can stay consistent with. Don't overcomplicate it and have 75 moving parts, and then you can't stay consistent. You can only do it twice a week, and then you just feel like, I'm just kind of floundering. I don't know what I'm doing. You need a plan, but you need it to be simple. So if your plan starts to be too complicated, it's time to simplify. It's time to say, okay, where am I off track here? What is going to simplify this, and how can I get my rhythm back? Because when you have your rhythm, just like when you learned how to type, I don't know how old you guys are, but for me, we had typing class. And I used to get so frustrated because I wanted to go really fast. So I would be like, okay, I get it. ASDF, JKL, semicolon. Like, I get it. Like, I want to go faster. And so I would get so frustrated because you'd have to do these stupid words, was, did, the, of, and you'd have to do them over and over and over again. And I was just like so impatient. So I would, like, when the teacher wouldn't look, I would just go, because I would get my frustration out. But the point is that those fundamentals had to be perfected almost. You had to have such a rhythm that then you can start going really fast. You have to have the base and the foundation, whatever that is for you. And for all of us, it's different. It's a different program for all of us. It's a different time of day that we work out. It's a different, maybe how you eat. Everybody has a different regime, but you have to be okay figuring out what yours is and keep it simple. Because as you get that rhythm and that routine, you're going to look forward to it because it gives you the freedom to do other things, to add on and say, okay, I got this down. I don't have to think about it so much. I'm not going, what am I supposed to eat now? What time should I work out? What workout am I doing? Am I supposed to be writing this down? What am I tracking? You just have it kind of like second nature. So when that happens, then you can do all the fancy stuff. Then you can start adding in extra stuff or, making better recipes or, adding like, I don't know, bringing friends into your workout, whatever it is. But when you're trying to do too many moving parts at once, you end up being like, you know what, just forget it. At least that's what happens with me. So how I recommit when I fall off, and Jenny, you missed the beginning of the call, but what I said was I fall off a lot. And I don't mean I fall off like just forget my plan, but I get off track a lot because there are so many moving parts in my life, as there are in everybody else's life that's on the call. So what I do is, instead of beating myself up, I just say, okay, this is not the end of the world. These are goals. Do not define you as a person. And then I just simplify what I can and say, okay, I'm not going to think about this. What do I know I can do? For us with Beachbody, it's your shake every day. That is your very first way to create a consistent habit in your journey. If you get up every day, make your shake, or pick a time of day and you do it every day, you'll create that rhythm. Then it's your workout. When am I going to work out? Keep it simple. What time of day? Maybe it has to be different throughout the week, but you keep that flow. And then you say, okay, the clean eating, like I can start making better choices. I can start eliminating this, adding this, whatever it is. But when you start to fall off track, you have to just stop for a second and look and realize I'm probably just doing too much. Maybe it's the holidays. Maybe I had 4 birthday parties every weekend, for the last month. I know for me with a 9-year-old, there's a birthday party like every weekend. Whatever it is, and then just simplify everything and just reassess and come back to the basics. If you can stick to the fundamentals, you can get right back on. And if you don't beat yourself up, you will be motivated to get back on. It's the motivation that you need. The motivation you need starts with love. And that's why it's so important to plug into the group, even when you're falling off, even when you haven't worked out, even when you're like, I suck, I'm horrible. No, you don't suck. You're not horrible. All the people who are not posting and not engaging are feeling this pressure that they're putting on themselves. And it's not necessary. It's a love first thing. You have to love yourself first. And everybody in the group, I don't know about you, but I don't judge anybody who has a off period. I don't say, she needs to get her stuff together, because I'm her. I'm human. All we need is to accept each other for who we are. No judgment-free zone. Love yourself. Then say, okay, let me stop thinking about it. Let me just do something. And then do I need to simplify and get back to the fundamentals? So like I said, nothing earth shattering, but that's what really has helped me to stop having huge gaps of time where I'm just completely off the wagon and get myself right back on. So I might have a day or two that I'm off and I'm just like, but I get right back on because I do these 3 things. So I'm going to open it up for questions or comments on what you guys do also that helps you, because that would be really helpful for the rest of the people who are going to watch this call. So let me unmute you guys. And if you don't have anything, that's fine too. Hold on. I can't unmute Tina for some reason. Okay, there we go.
All right. It's because I muted myself.
So if you guys have anything to add, please do. Hi, Lillian.
Hi.
Are you doing stretches this morning? We need you to teach us a class at some point.
Okay.
Aww.
Don't get her started. She will never stop. She loves the camera.
Yay.
Back bends in the kitchen.
So does that make sense to you guys? I mean, I know
Yeah, totally.
it's just basic stuff, but honestly, the basic stuff is where the success comes from. It's not all this fanciness and adding stuff, and it's just the fundamental. So, Tina, do you have anything?
Totally. I was just going to say, I don't know how you do it, but every time I need to hear something, you just say it. I don't get it. You have like a superpower, but I love this. And
it's called energize. No.
So thank you. Yeah, I needed to know. Jenny, I was just going to let you know, I'm in a coaching boot camp thing, and oh my God. Yeah. And so not only in our challenger group, but with that, this spoke to me because I'm trying to do everything like so perfect and overthink it that I get exhausted.
Yeah.
And then I don't finish the project. So, and same with working out. I loved that you said, give it what you can, because like there's so many times I do our workouts and I'm like, oh, this is so hard, and I want to keep going. But sometimes I'm just like, you know what, Tina, you did what you did today and be proud.
That's right, because you can build on that. You can't build on shame, and you can't build on perfectionism. It's just not realistic. It's just not. You have to just be where you are. And the comparison thing is so hard not to do, but it's a thief of joy. It just kills your joy. It's like, so-and-so lost 5 pounds in 2 days. I mean, my husband, we've been doing clean eating together since Transform 20 started, and he's lost like 8 pounds. Listen,
holy mollies.
He was a professional athlete. He was an athlete his whole life. My body doesn't have the same set point. First of all,
Andy's a dude.
And
no kidding.
Andy's a dude.
But even if he wasn't, I have female athlete friends, and that happens to their bodies. Their body just remembers different. It has different muscle memory. My body's set point wants to go back to being chunky. It doesn't want to do what his body does. So, the other day he's like, oh, I'm down such and such. And then he started to say, I asked him a rhetorical question. I said, wait, what? I said, how? Something. He goes, well, babe. I said, no, I don't really want to know how. I was like, but he was like, don't compare. I was like, I'm not comparing. I already know my body's going to take longer. I already know that. So you have to just keep the blinders on. But yes, Tina, no perfectionism. That will crush your motivation.
Oh, yes. So, and Jenny, I guess I should do the video because I haven't really met Jenny.
Oh, yeah.
But that was so fun to see you. And I look hideous whenever we do these calls.
Oh my gosh.
No, I think, look at my PJs.
I might be still wearing the same outfit from yesterday. I'm not joking.
Me too.
we had a teacher work day, and it was like bum it at work day, and I just went to bed in it, and I woke up in it, and
every day should be bum it at work.
Right.
It is when you're a coach. I'm telling. I showed up in my robe. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
well, nice to meet you, Jenny,
nice to meet you
and
too,
your
Tina.
sweet daughter too. She's a dancer or gymnast or both.
She's a self-taught lots of things.
Nice. I love it. You've got it, girl. Oh my goodness. I've been a dance teacher for over 20 years, and you got it, girlfriend. So
she's never taken dance, though. This is all just her watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, I can see.
My head.
Oh my gosh, careful.
She wants to contort. So
she wants to be a contortionist.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, keep going. You've got it. You've got that natural ability.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So all right. Thank you guys for getting on the call.
All right. Good.
Coach call to get on too, so I'm going to hop off.
Okay.
Okay.
Recording in the group, and I'll see you in the group.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.